videos, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook.
This is Jim from the Honey and Bee Connection. We are going to be making sugar blocks today, our winter feeding blocks that we make for our bees. If you watched my video on the quote boxes or moisture control boxes, this is the recipe, what we do to make these blocks. Items you're going to need, first of all, utmost is safety. Have you a good pair of heavy gloves. You're going to need a pot that'll hold about 12.5 pounds of sugar. It needs to be at least 10 or 12 inches high, 10 or 12 inches deep. You mix that sugar in with the water and it starts boiling, it's going to bubble up, so you got to have a deep pot to mix that in. Spoon, a candy thermometer, a quart jar. You'll need some Pro Health or Honeybee Healthy, and then we've got Ultra Bee in a barrel there, and we dip that out in three cups to a batch. I've got a can here and it's got a red mark in it, so I just dip into my barrel and get all this ready before we get started. About 3 cups in there. Got water in a quart jar. Fill my quart jar up, clear full, and I dump a little bit in another little container. Then we put 2 tablespoons of white distilled vinegar in there that lowers the pH. 1, 2, that's done. And then we do 3 tablespoons of Pro Health or Honeybee Healthy. Stir it up a little bit. Now we're going to take the pot. Oh, you're going to have something to mix it. We use a drill with a paint mixer on it. They sell these at Lowe's. Works really great for mixing your Ultra Bee in. We'll take our pot, set it on the fire. We got a 3-burner stove here that we cook it in. We dump our water in. 1 quart of water goes in. And then we let that come to a boil. Okay, now water's boiling. We're going to dump in our sugar. We use 12.5 pounds of sugar. That way we've got, we'll buy 25-pound bags. And you only have to measure it once. You measure 12.5 pounds out of it, and then you dump the other half in. Now we're going to mix it up until we get a real thick slurry in there. And notice the gloves. This stuff gets hot. Now you think this stuff will scorch, but it doesn't scorch, so you don't have to stir it very often. We just gotta let it heat up and come to a boil again. Now the sugar slurry is starting to boil a little bit. We mixed up the 3 tablespoons of Pro Health, the 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and we're gonna pour that in there now. Stir that in real good. And now it's back to the old adage. Watch a pot of water boiling. It takes forever. It's gonna have to get to boiling a little bit more before we need to put a candy thermometer in there. We bought these candy thermometers at Walmart. I've got the temperature down to where it's got to be maybe 250. It's just 1 mark past softball stage on the Celsius side of the candy thermometer. This is where the gloves really become critical. We've burnt, lost skin and everything else, so be careful with it. Get it boiling, and just drop the candy thermometer in there. When you put your protein powder in, whether you use an AP23 powder or Ultra Bee, it don't really matter. But if you get it too hot, what's going to happen is it's going to start trying to boil up out of the pan when you start mixing that protein powder in. So you got to keep it just 1 mark past the softball stage. That's boiling pretty good now. Got about another 15 degrees to go. There, 1 mark past softball stage. When you pour your powder in, don't pour it all in just one big clump. because it'll leave big balls of it that doesn't get mixed in. We mix it with a paint mixer. Keep your thing flat, and the way we've got it running, it pushes down. If you pull up, it'll splash it up out on you, and this stuff's at like 250 degrees. Take the skin right off the hide. There, it's mixed. Got some small balls in it, but then we just pick it up, we carry it over here. Winter feeding blocks, we usually put them on in November, first part of November, somewhere between the 1st of November and Thanksgiving. Just depending on the weather and when we can get into the hives. We've done 75 pounds of sugar, and we got about 58 blocks, I think 59 blocks out of it, 1.5 pound blocks. So you can figure on 12.5 pounds of sugar, what you're going to wind up with these pie pans and 1.5 pound blocks is about 9 to 9.5 per 12.5 pound batch you make. So you can figure, 25 pound bag, you're going to get about 18 or 19 blocks out of it. These are 8-inch pie pans. I'm not sure exactly the size, but I think they're like 1 3/8 deep by 8-inch diameter. And like I said, that'll make a 1.5 pound block for you, maybe a little over 1.5 pounds. But we usually put 2 blocks on each hive to start off with in the winter time when we put them on in November. Thanks for watching our video. If you have a YouTube account, like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. Hit the bell for email notifications so you never miss another video. And please visit our site, thehoneyandbeeconnection.com, for the best deals on all your beekeeping equipment and supplies, or just come down. We're located right here in Morehead, Kentucky, a few minutes off of I-64.